I'm Arthur. I'm 86 years old. I'm driving to pick up my grandson from school when he gets into the passenger seat and just sits there, staring straight ahead. Not upset, not frustrated, just hollow, like the spark behind his eyes has gone dim. He's 16. I ask how school was. He shrugs.
I ask if anything went wrong. He says no. We ride in silence for a while, and then he says something so quietly I almost miss it. "Granddad, do you ever feel like nothing you do actually makes a difference?" I'm Arthur. I'm 86 years old. I've lived through economic crashes, buried people I loved, made choices I still replay at night, and failed in ways that don't fade with time. And that question stopped me cold, because I've asked myself the exact same thing. The only difference is, this is standing at the start of his life, looking forward. I'm near the end, looking back. And somewhere between those two viewpoints, I think I finally understand something I never had words for before. We live in a culture obsessed with significance. Everyone wants proof that they mattered, that they left a mark, that their life counted for something visible. People chase titles, they chase attention, they chase applause from strangers. They count followers, they count achievements, they count how many people recognize their name. I understand the pull, I really do. But here's what nearly 9 decades have taught me. The moments that shape lives almost never feel important while they're happening. Let me tell you about a woman named Helen. She lived a few doors down from us for over 40 years. Helen never married, never had children. She taught 4th grade at the same public school her entire career. When she retired, the school held a small ceremony in the cafeteria. A handful of colleagues, a cake, a plaque. That was it. No fanfare, no speeches that echoed beyond the room. 2 years later, Helen died peacefully in her sleep. I expected a quiet funeral. Instead, the church overflowed. People stood along the walls, others waited outside. And one by one, people stepped forward. A surgeon who said Helen was the first adult who made him believe he wasn't stupid. A woman who ran a literacy program who said Helen taught her to read when no one else had the patience. A man with gray in his beard who brought his daughter with him and said he became a teacher because of her. Story after story, lives redirected, paths altered, all because of someone who thought she was just doing her job. Helen never tried to change the world. She didn't chase recognition. She showed up every morning, learned her students' names, noticed who was struggling, and stayed after school to help them understand decimals and spelling rules. Nothing flashy, nothing impressive on paper, but the ripples of her attention are still moving outward, decades later, through people she never lived to see. I think we misunderstand what it means to matter. We assume it means being visible, being known, being remembered by crowds. But life doesn't actually work that way. Life is built from quiet exchanges between people. A sentence said at the right moment, a kindness offered without witnesses, staying when leaving would be easier, listening when you'd rather speak. These things don't feel meaningful when they happen. They feel ordinary, forgettable, small. When I was 40, I hit a low point. My business was barely surviving, bills stacked up faster than I could pay them. I was drinking too much and sleeping too little. I felt like I'd failed everyone who depended on me. One night, I sat in my car outside a bar, arguing with myself about going in, and a man named Daniel, someone I barely knew, tapped on my window. We'd spoken maybe twice before. He said he was heading for coffee and asked if I wanted to come along. No lecture, no concern disguised as advice, just coffee. We sat in a booth for hours. He talked about his kids, a book he was reading, a road trip he'd taken years earlier. He never asked what was wrong. But somewhere in that ordinary conversation, the weight inside me shifted. I didn't go into that bar. I went home. I don't remember most of what we talked about, but that moment changed the direction of my night, maybe my life. Daniel probably forgot about it by morning. That's how mattering usually works. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't come with confirmation. You won't get a message telling you that something you did mattered deeply to someone else. Most of the time, you'll never know. My wife, Clara, used to write letters. Actual letters, paper, envelopes, stamps. She wrote to our children when they moved away, to old friends, to neighbors, to anyone she thought might need a word. I used to tease her. I'd say, "Everyone has phones now. You don't need to do all this." She'd smile and keep writing. After she died, I found boxes of letters people had sent back, and in nearly every one, someone mentioned how much her letters meant, how they'd kept them for years, how they'd reread them during difficult seasons. She wasn't trying to be remembered. She was just reaching out, and she mattered more than she ever knew. Here's what I wish I'd understood earlier in life. Your life does not need to be extraordinary to be meaningful. The pressure to be exceptional crushes people. It convinces them that ordinary goodness isn't enough, that caring for family, doing your work honestly, being decent to strangers somehow doesn't count unless it's impressive. But almost everything holding this world together is done quietly by people whose names won't be remembered. Parents waking up all night with sick kids, workers doing their jobs with integrity, friends checking in when something feels off, volunteers showing up again and again. Small acts that keep everything from unraveling. If you want to know whether you matter, don't look outward. Look at the people right in front of you. Are you present with them? Are you honest? Are you kind when it costs you nothing and when it costs you something? Do you keep your word? Do you make space for other people's pain? These things won't build a reputation, but they will determine whether your life meant something real. I keep thinking about my grandson's question, does anything I do actually matter? And I think the question itself points us in the wrong direction, because usually what we're really asking is whether we matter in a visible way, a measurable way, a way that can be proven. But mattering is quieter than that. It's knowing your presence would be missed by real people. When my granddaughter was 8, she was terrified of the water. For weeks, I stood with her at the edge of the pool, 15 minutes a day. No pushing, no pressure. By summer's end, she was swimming. She doesn't remember those afternoons, but I do, because I know that patience mattered. The older I get, the clearer it becomes. Most of what we chase disappears. Status fades, achievements blur. People forget faster than you expect. but they remember how you made them feel. They remember that you showed up. They remember being seen. Last week at the grocery store, the cashier looked exhausted. I could have paid and left. Instead, I asked her how she was. Really asked. Her eyes filled with tears. She told me she was working extra shifts because her father was sick. We talked for a few minutes. I told her she was doing something honorable. When I left, she thanked me twice. Did it change the world? No. Did it matter to her in that moment? I believe it did. So here's my answer to my grandson and maybe to you. Yes, what you do matters, just not in the ways you've been taught to look for. It matters in patience, in honesty, in staying when it would be easier to walk away. Your life does not need to be loud to be meaningful. It needs to be attentive and kind. That kind of significance doesn't live in spotlights. It lives in the steady, quiet work of being human with other humans. I'm 86 years old, and when I think about what I want my life to have meant, I don't think about recognition. I think about the people I loved well, the moments I was fully present, the times I helped without needing credit. Those are the things that lasted. Those are the things that mattered. And they always will.